Hey everybody, it's Thomas Shirley from Throne Builders, and I wanted to address an issue that I kind of hear both sides of quite often, and I want to talk about discerning of spirits. It says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9 to another, the gift of faith is the gift of faith is given, then another the gift of healing of the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits. And I hear a lot of talk about that, and I kind of hear both sides of it. And I wanted to take the time to give you my take on it because I think it would encourage you quite a bit. So the two different sides that I hear about this are that there's a discerning of spirits where everybody is just constantly focused on demons, and there's a devil here and a demon there and an unclean spirit there. If you go back and you look at the Old Testament writings, whenever you see the word spirit mentioned, it literally has to do with an atmosphere created by words. It's an attitude. If you get around someone that speaks negative all the time, even if they're not speaking, you can kind of feel that atmosphere around them. It's like the Peanuts character, Pigpen. You know, he always had this cloud around him. You get around someone that's real positive and always speaking in a positive way, even though they're not speaking, they exude that kind of energetic and excited, confident persona. So when you take a look at the word spirit, or the concept of a spirit from that point of view, it really, discerning of spirits no longer has to do with looking for a demon underneath every bush. Instead, it has to do with recognizing the environment or the atmosphere that people create with their words, and what kind of environment, what kind of atmosphere is coming out of that. Now, the other side that I hear people talk about a lot is they actually mock the idea of discerning of spirits, and here's why. Because over here is the discerning of spirits where, you know, that person has a demon, or that's demonic, and they're controlled by devils, and this constant talk about people and how they are being influenced by demons. And really, what it is it becomes a glorified way of slandering and gossiping, but we get to put demons there instead of the person themselves. And if you go by the modern way that people like to try to talk about demons, then basically what you're saying is that person opened a door, and so they've got demons in their life, so it's their fault, and we can talk about them because I'm using my gift of discerning of spirits, okay? So one is focused on something that's not involved at all, because it's not a demon like we've been taught. It's literally an atmosphere, an environment that's created around somebody through their words, not demonic. And then over here, we have to be careful not to talk about, you know, bring our demons in over here so that we can create our own little right to gossip and slander. Discerning of spirits, what does it mean? It means that when someone speaks a word into your life, you need to be aware inside, what's the motivation behind that? What's the source that's coming out of that? Now, you know, my wife and I, we're prophetic people. My family, my kids, very prophetic family. We served a lot of people, ministered to a lot of people. And we've gotten around some people that you can tell right off the bat, something's not right. We recently had two different women that kind of linked up to betray our family. And from the very beginning, for one woman, the very first time I ever heard her voice, I knew in my spirit something wasn't right. Now, we pursued that relationship and worked on building a relationship with this person for nearly 6 months, but something inside said, be careful, watch how far you go. With the other woman, my wife, immediately the first time she heard her voice, something inside said, okay, something's not right, just be careful what you do. So in our discerning of spirits, in the gift of discerning of spirits, we were both aware that something was wrong with the source, and something surrounded these two women that was very problematic. And so here's what we did. In our discerning, we decided that we would still move forward with these people, aware of the fact that we'd been warned or something had been highlighted for us to be careful about, but we moved forward in developing our relationship and trying to develop a friendship with these people, because discerning of spirits does not give you a right to cut people out of your life. Offenses give you the right to do that. You see, when someone comes against you and does you harm and demonstrates that they have no desire to rectify and build a long-term relationship with you, you need to remove that person from your life. You know, turning the other cheek's a great thing, but I like what one guy said years ago. He said, you've only got two of them. You know, you hit on the one, you turn, give them the other one, and then after that, maybe you shouldn't put your face out there anymore. Discerning of spirits doesn't give you the right to speak evil of people. Instead, it gives you the ability to understand what you're dealing with, so you can do several things. You can pray. You can ask God to move and bring healing to that situation. You can ask Him to expose. You can reach out to that person and try to help them understand. Both of these women, my wife and I, not trying to talk to them about like this thing that we were sensing, but just about some things in their life that we could tell were a part of the environment or atmosphere that they'd created around themselves. We tried to talk to them about it, not to try to get them to line up with what our thoughts were, but just trying to get them to see what was going on. Both of them, one of them just reject. The other one was like, yeah, but then would turn around seconds later and continue to say and act in the same exact way she had before. But our discernment, this gift of discerning of spirits, gave us the ability to understand what was going on. So when the day came that their betrayal came to a fruition for us, it was very easy for us to understand and be like, okay, well, we saw that coming, and so we could just let it go, bless them, and move on. You have every gift of the Spirit inside of you. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Paul talks about to one this gift, to one this gift, to one this gift, but he's not saying that every believer doesn't have all the gifts. The specific context is when you come together with other believers to worship or serve or minister together, then there's a way that the Holy Spirit releases these. But in you right now, you have every gift of the Spirit. So you have the gift of discernment. Some of you keep being abused by the same kinds of people again and again and again and again. And boy, our family can relate. It took us years to finally get to the place where we understood, man, when that kind of person gets around you and the spidey sense starts tingling, hey, be aware, watch what you're doing. Don't open up your home. Don't open up your life. Don't give them carte blanche to speak into your situation or into your home, into your family. You have this ability inside of you, but you have to be careful. Don't constantly be looking for demons, because that's honestly not what people are dealing with. They're dealing with the junk that's coming out of their hearts that they've been formulating and cultivating for years. And it doesn't give you a right to speak evil of people and gossip about them. Slander is never a part of the will of God, ever, for any of us, okay? So I just wanted to encourage you that you have the gift of discerning of spirits. You don't have to continually allow yourself to be taken advantage of, and you need to use this gift that's inside of you to recognize what is happening and allow yourself to move forward with caution and wisdom, because God has put His mind, His heart, His passion inside of you, and He wants to lead you. Some of you are bringing people into your marriage that don't belong there. There's something inside of you speaking, and maybe you don't get it, but maybe your spouse does get it. Maybe your spouse is like, hey, something's not right with this situation. You need to learn how to give and take and let the other person speak into the situation. Some of you are letting people around your kids, and I realize that you can't control your kids at a certain point, and you shouldn't want to control your kids. But some of you are allowing your kids to be around people that are bringing that very negative or very deceptive spirit around, that atmosphere of deception and lies and just a really perverse way of approaching life. And you need to let your discerning of spirits speak for you. And don't be afraid to talk to your kids about things. You need to understand the environment, the atmosphere that's being created through this. And you have the gift right now to be able to do that. So I hope that this has encouraged you and helped you to understand that you're not always responsible to ascribe everything to a demon, and you don't have the right to gossip. But when you know something's not right because your spirit's like, wait, ding, 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 you know, something's not right, warning, 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 or like the old robot from Lost in Space, danger, danger, danger. You need to be able to listen to that voice and take heed and proceed with caution in all that you do. So this is Thomas Shirley from Throne Builders. Please let me know what you think about this teaching in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing what you have to say. God bless everybody.